when you writing your other works of nonfiction, like how, I don't know, was it was there as much drama or all of that trash talking, anything like
Yeah,
you
that's
find in your
funny you
other
brought that up.
works?
There very much is. And I think it's just an ego driven thing, too. You get these scientists and doctors together, and they obviously think that they know everything. They know what special sauce is the best. And when you have someone like butting up against that or thinking otherwise, then they get their hackles up and they start attacking each other. And you get really a lot of bitchy moments between scientists and things like that. But yeah, my other works, I wrote about these two colonial doctors who were the leading physicians in America at the time of the American Revolution. And they both were actually the heads of the medical department in the Continental Army, but they absolutely hated each other. And so you would just see these back and forth bitching. One took the other's job, and then the other one was like working for years and years to backstab him to try to get his job taken away from him. And it's just, so I think it's just like an ego thing of people who are used to being told they're right, and when they're challenged even in the slightest bit, they have to go after one another with a vengeance and a fury.
Yeah, and I think it's also because it's like a little more public, right? It's not like you're in, like word gets out that someone's
Yeah, right.
talking shit about
Exactly.
your work. Like so I think that's part of it too, where they're like, excuse me, absolutely not. I spent years on my theory or this and that and the other. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go talk some shit back, and I guess it brings the excitement and the competitiveness of it. But I imagine to the common public, maybe it does look petty, or maybe it does just garner more interest in what the heck they're talking about. Even if it's not, even if maybe something like flies over their head, they're still like, ooh, like two smart people like fighting. This should be good.
That reminds me of Ernst Haeckel and how he was such a bulldog, and he was almost took the stance like any publicity is good publicity, and so he was very much like fighting
Yeah.
for Darwinism to be an accepted fact in the late 19th century. And so he would go after any and everybody and just was like WW. He was like throwing down with any and all the scientists who were just still like strict creationists or whatever. And so he would combat them. And then it was funny when you have Blavatsky overtakes or starts hijacking Ernst Haeckel's thoughts on evolution. So he was putting forth his ideas on evolution, and then she was putting forth her ideas of like spiritual evolution, and she was using Haeckel as like a straw man to set up her argument against, and that just pissed Haeckel off like completely. And so where in his major work, The History of Creation, he was the first one to actually put Lemuria on a map. Like he drew this really beautiful map of the Indian Ocean and the South Pacific, and he drew Lemuria right in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And then a couple years later, Blavatsky puts out her ideas and starts talking about Lemuria. And then in the following editions of Haeckel's work, he takes it away. He like deletes Lemuria off the map because he doesn't want to be associated with Blavatsky whatsoever. And it's also, and he also doesn't want to be associated with people who are associated with Blavatsky because he had a correspondence with Rudolf Steiner. And Steiner was like a highly intellectual man of his day as well, but he was a theosophist. And then when word got back to Haeckel that Steiner was a theosophist, he was like, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We're done here."